Hello. You might be wondering what I'm really doing as a full-time musician slash composer in lockdown. The truth is, I'm not really a full-time musician slash composer. I'm actually in furlough. My real job at the moment, until further notice, is an e-learning coder, basically. I got that job 3 days before lockdown. So literally for the first 6 weeks of the lockdown period, I was just sitting in my flat, actually working when everyone else was sitting in their pants, I think. Then I was furloughed, which was quite unexpected. And I don't know, hopefully I've got a job in 2 months' time, don't really know. But I thought I would take advantage of the time to do more of my music, because actually that's what I really do like doing. So in this time, what have I done? Well, I have created a little EP, which I did call Sitting in My Pants, as a bit of a joke, really. I don't think I actually did sit in my pants, to be honest with you. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I created this EP, and I thought it would be a really good idea to donate all the profits, if there are any, don't know, to the Save Our Venues campaign. I chose the venues, the Green Door Store and the Rossi Bar. I'll be honest, purely for quite selfish reasons or personal reasons, whichever one you want to think, but altruistic as well, really. At the beginning of the year, well, I've never played in Brighton as a solo musician before. I've played in quite a few bands. I've played in Oddfellows, on and off for like 20 years. We've done the Spiegel tent, I don't know how many times at the festival. I've also played in the Brighton Film Quartet for 7 years, and we've done the festival and quite a lot of gigs around Brighton. But I'd never actually played as a solo artist, basically. And I was having lunch with one of my friends, Penny, at the beginning of the year, saying, do you know what, I'd quite like to do some solo gigs around Brighton. I'd done one in Liverpool the year before, but I hadn't actually really got round to organising any in Brighton. And she said, right, that's your mission for the year. Or actually, she said, for the next month, you've got to sort out getting some gigs together. And we were talking about doing open mics, which I felt a bit dubious about because, you know, I'm 51. Everyone that does open mics, let's face it, they're probably about, I don't know, 20, 25. So I wasn't sure that they were the right audience, but so I was sort of musing on that, basically, and in between sort of writing various electronic bits of music, which I then circulated around quite a few Facebook groups. And to my surprise, actually, it did result in some interest. A bloke called Jeff Cheesemaster, who runs Spirit of Gravity Night, actually contacted me and said, oh, do you want to play a couple of gigs for us? And I sort of went, yes. And then immediately afterwards, I felt like panicking, thinking, oh my God, I've said yes. And I've never really done this before completely on my own. So, so then I spent, probably about 6 weeks slightly panicking in my head and also getting ready to do the gig, basically. I did a gig, I'm trying to remember, it was literally, I think it was probably about 2 or 3 weeks before it was locked down. So my first ever sort of gig as an electronic solo artist was actually at the Green Door Store, which, yeah, was quite. It was a good experience, actually. I really enjoyed it. Quite panicky about it, but once I sort of actually did the gig, I quite enjoyed it, and then thought, yeah, I can do this. So then after that, I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks later, I was due to be playing the Rossi Bar. But that literally happened, as lockdown happened. So that gig didn't happen. So that is really why I'm supporting them, because without them, without sort of small venues, people who haven't played gigs for years, or haven't got a big fan base, or teenagers, lots of different reasons, you just wouldn't get heard, basically. So I do actually think they're great venues. I mean, I've seen some really good bands there. I mean, I saw, I think it's about 3 years ago, I saw The Comet Is Coming, and it was literally a free gig. It was a Melting Vinyl gig. I'd gone to rehearsal the same evening, and I can remember just seeing, I think there was a Facebook ad out saying, oh, this band, and I can remember just looking at their costumes thinking, wow, this band looked amazing, and I literally just went on my own after rehearsal, because I was just curious, really. I checked out their music, what they did have online at the time. I think it was 3 years ago, or maybe 4 years ago, I can't remember. And when I went to the gig, it was just brilliant. They just completely blew me away. I mean, amazing jazz musicians. They had this sort of day glow visuals. They had all these mad costumes. And, the Green Door Store is the world's smallest venue, practically. I mean, well, no, that's a lie, but it's quite a small venue. You can probably only fit about, I don't know, 80 people in there comfortably, or maybe less. I don't really know. But it, without venues like that, bands don't get started, do they? Not everyone can afford to rent out space for, larger venues. I saw Ulrich Schnaus there as well, and I can remember just thinking, this bloke is completely amazing. I mean, he's like now joined Tangerine Dream, What was he doing at the Green Door Store? I mean, he should be playing stadiums. Well, and they're just two examples of bands that I've seen there that have gone on to do really quite, big gigs, become really successful in their own right, in their own niche of electronic jazz music. So I do think, supporting venues like the Green Door Store and the Rossi Bar, it is important. So, so I did create a slightly comedy promotional campaign for doing it, just for a laugh, but it's also to sort of a way of raising awareness amongst people that perhaps haven't heard of the Green Door Store or the Rossi Bar in Brighton. Like, I think a lot of musos in Brighton have heard of them. Probably lots of students as well. They have quite a lot of club nights there, 80s nights, 90s nights, heavy metal nights, and they're always quite a laugh. But there's probably quite a big proportion, probably my age group more, of people that just don't go to the Green Door Store, or don't think that, that aren't aware that it's such a good place to go for gigs. So I literally just, wanted to raise awareness for such good venues. And so I'm waffling a bit, but to cut a long story short, I have got an EP out. I released it, I can't even remember, was it a couple of days ago? And it is called Sitting in Your Pants. I'm trying to think, there's 5 tracks on there. 4 of them I have written or basically improvised round loops, during lockdown. The title track, called Blackbird, is one that I wrote, when was it? Back in October, and actually appears on another album I've done called Deeper Sounds in Space. And I wanted to put that track on there as well, because it sort of matches the theme of the EP basically. You know, the EP is about being sort of isolated, being in lockdown. And when I wrote that piece, I was writing quite a lot of music in isolation actually. Yeah, I was writing quite a bit of music for another well, not for, when I was doing another e-learning job, working from home, having a bit of time on my hands in between coding and stuff, and probably like living in my own little bubble really, which was actually quite nice because I was doing quite a lot of composing from home and working. And actually I learnt the saxophone while I was doing that as well. So yeah, so you know, working from home has its bonuses, doesn't it? Yeah, so and also it sort of matches the theme of the EP and also the genre as well. I mean, the genres, I would call it fairly ambient, chill out, lo-fi type music, and it's the sort of track that is that. So most of my music is improvised round loops that I find online on different sites. Yeah, and that's how I make the music I do. So little motifs I put in there, ideas I get from nature, from around me, from other people, you know. Yeah, so I just quite enjoy doing it, and you know, and I've put out the EP in the hope that people might buy it for charity. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. But but if you do actually like it, you know, put it this way, it is for a good cause. So all the money will literally go directly to the Green Door store and the Rossi bar. So yeah, so this is quite a long, waffly charity appeal, but I thought I would sort of speak directly on camera about it. I'm not particularly very good at speaking directly on camera about things seriously. Let's face it, it's easier to hide behind a silly wig and sunglasses, really, isn't it? Well, it is, isn't it? Because generally I'm fairly quiet sort of person and stutter and stumble quite a bit when I try and say things. But anyway, yeah. So if you do want to buy the EP, it's on Bandcamp, and oh god, I can't even remember the link actually. I think it's emmapapa.bandcamp.com, or oh god, sorry about that. But anyway, the link is in my bio for Instagram. So if you just click on that, it will take you directly to the Bandcamp page where you can buy it. So yeah, if you want to buy it, go ahead. If you want to like my page, go for it. Click on the button, whatever button, follow, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. Or like my post, whatever, or share it. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope everyone else is having a nice time in lockdown. It's quite nice the weather's changed. Well, it's got hotter now, isn't it? And I might even go to the beach later this afternoon and have a dip in the sea. All right? Okay, take care. Bye.